Assalamu alaikum. Let's cook. Okay, people, we're going to talk about white science. Some of the most sickest, mentally deranged people worldwide in history were white scientists. These people create studies, they do research, and the outcome is usually to make a claim that's intertwined with their sick desires. Now, we're going to talk about a mayo monster, white supremacist here by the name of Helmut Kentler. This dude is German. He was born in 1920. He passed away in the year 2008. Now, this dude, Helmut Kentler, is a very well-respected psychologist, sexologist, and professor of social education. Now, he became very big and well-known for orchestrating a project in West Berlin called the Kentler Experiment. Now, this guy, Helmut Kentler, is a homosexual, and he adopted 4 sons that lived with him. It was later found out that, yes, he was having relations with his sons. That's a fact. Now, this guy's Kentler experiment, what he did, he placed neglected children in the long-term care of known pedophiles. And this experiment was financially supported by the Berlin Senate. Now, you're thinking, well, why would the Berlin state give this guy money to do this? Because this guy, Helmut Kentler, he was a big deal in Berlin. He's like some kind of sex expert, all that. He was a professor of social education at the University of Hanover as well. So that goes to show that these people who gave him all these accolades and who funded him, they were into what he was into as well. This is why this is possible. So what he did was he implemented a system where vulnerable youth aged 13 to 15 were placed as foster care children in the homes of single men who were known pedophiles, not rumor on record. This is what they are. Helmut Kentler said that children could have sexual needs and that a sexually open-minded environment free from repressive moral strictures would be beneficial for their development. He argued that pedophiles could make acceptable foster parents, believing that they will be highly dedicated to the children because they are in love with them, smitten and infatuated with them. These are his words. He said that pedophiles could make acceptable foster parents because these people are in love with children. He further stated that non-violent sexual contact would be relatively harmless and could even have a positive effect on a boy's personality development if the adult acted as a mentor. Okay, so this is what he said. This is what he did. They placed many of these boys in homes with these guys. And these men were compensated as foster parents, by the way. Okay? These men were compensated, these male pedophiles. When they placed these boys in the homes with them, they were compensated by Berlin. This went on from the late 60s all the way into the 90s. These are boys who lived in these foster homes who were out and about. These guys are adults now. They're talking about it, by the way. They're talking about it. And this guy, Kentler, and all these men, they got this off. They were able to do it because they had the support of the government and many people. This guy wrote books. He was considered an expert. And even when a new regime of people came in and they knew what this guy did was wrong, they said, hey, man, this Helmut Kentler, what he did to these boys was wrong. He was never criminally charged. Voltron, Pale Voltron, people. So decades later, survivors is what they call them, these young men who were in this program. Remember, these are boys who need help. They're like homeless and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They came forward with all kinds of stories of abuse, physical assault, psychological manipulation that they dealt with being placed in the homes of these male pedophiles. And by the way, most of these male pedophiles who they placed these boys with, these guys were academics and from other professional backgrounds. They weren't like just, I guess it's kind of similar to what you see now with these LGG guys, you know, in DC or other cities. You know, a lot of them guys are professionals, you know, have big time professional jobs, kind of like that. You know what I mean? But they got paid for this as well. And this guy who created this experiment, after everybody knew what he did was wrong, this Helmut Kentler, he died in 2008, never criminally charged. Now, Berlin has since, they did offer some compensation to the victims of these pedophiles who were part of this experiment. They did start to compensate some of them. You know what I mean? They did, but whatever. This guy, Helmut Kentler, it goes to show you that these type of people, what they call experts, white science, people who can go out and create an entire study, make it valid, and do what they want to do with children. That's it. Very sick. And it still goes on to this day. This guy, Helmut Kentler, if he was alive right now, he would have did really well under the Skittles organization. He did really well. And yes, people, even black people, will make excuses for him like they do. Black people will make excuses for this guy, Helmut Kentler, if he was popular and if he was promoted and endorsed by a few Negro celebrity shine bones. Unfortunately, you all, we have become part of this Satanism as well. I'm not saying you are, but it was a point in time when black people as a whole, we weren't Satanists. We cannot say that anymore. Overall, black people in America are under a spell, a spiritual illness called personality worship. Does not mean everybody, but I'm saying overall. I don't care if people say they're this religion, this spiritual system, whatever. Overall, we're doing pretty bad because we worship celebrities, we love white people, we follow what they do, we listen to what they say, and they can pretty much get us to do, say, believe, or follow anything. We definitely seen that within the past 10 years.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be
like,
everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this.
How many people in your family or friend group or in your neighborhood would clap for that or clap for him or jump in front of white people and defend him and his wife when they call her a baboon and all this other stuff? Whatever. But anyway, people, so this whole white science thing, it's a real sick thing. You have a lot of sick white scientists. And I'm also saying that black people, we're victimized by this as well. Very bad, okay? Very bad. But here's just one right here. This guy, Helmut Kentler, white devil, Kentler pedophile experiments. This was allowed. This is what they do. This is what they did. We should not be shocked by anything. Easy.